Hi, everyone. A very good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. This is Rob from the Drunken Grape, and it is a theme carrying through on Wine Wednesday. Now, the pandemic, and we have to address this, has affected and disrupted a lot of things, particularly the restaurant business. And I feel it here in my native city of Ottawa, Canada. And our guest here today owns a very unique two sets of businesses. One is perhaps the largest and most successful country western theme style bar in the entire area. The other one is a beer house done in a very much a Bavarian style where they offer hundreds of beers on tap. The menu and the cuisine is tailored to this. And I would like to thank or welcome my guest today. Keith, how you doing? This is Keith from Central Beer House and Crazy Horse.
I'm doing very well, Rob. I have to add in though that you said I'm the owner. I need to specify that I'm one of a group of partners, many of whom work very hard to try to keep both of our restaurants afloat right now. So I'm one of a few. So
okay, but yeah, I know you're. That's true, and I sorry about that, but I know you're
no.
a pivotal figure and a key managing director slash owner in the operation itself. So, Keith, just tell us what. I know that we've known each other a long time, and I know that you've got a really, most of our lives, but you have you've got a really cool background. I mean, you went almost, or you did go pro as a football player, played for what, 2 or 3, 4 seasons, something like that. I can't recall.
2 seasons. Played
still that.
Yeah, I played in here in Ottawa and Saskatchewan many years ago, but definitely
awesome.
a joy.
That's good awesome. Country. So what got you into hospitality? What got you this far? I mean, becoming an owner of an establishment is no easy feat. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, lots of hours, a lot of capital. I mean, really, there's a lot of things that go into this. What got you started?
So I'm now 49 years old, and I got my first taste of the hospitality business back when I was still in high school.
Wow.
I'm a little bit above average in size, so I got my first job as a bouncer / doorman / security when I was 17 years old at the local Hurley's down the street.
I remember that place.
I wasn't old enough to drink there, but I was old enough to stop other people from drinking. But got my first taste there. Worked throughout several bars throughout university, and then I had an opportunity after I got drafted by Ottawa back in '95. I got an opportunity to actually bartend at one of the bars I was working at. And it just kind of took off from there. The owner had told me that whenever I was done the season or whenever I was done playing football, that there was always going to be a job opening for me. And I think part of my education, I did get a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at Simon Fraser, graduated. But I think part of what I learned in psychology transferred over to the hospitality business, being able to, deal with people on a daily basis, and just kind of grew from there. I loved the actual hospitality side of the hospitality industry. Dealing with people was always my forte, I guess. And throughout several years, I never really was looking to get into the ownership side, but then in 2000, I guess would have been 2008, when the planning first went through, I was approached by the group of guys that a couple of them owned the Gracie's on Maryville Road, and they looked to bring me and some other guys into a group to open up country bar and restaurant in Canada, Crazy Horse. So that's 2009. I officially became a restaurateur, and wouldn't change any of it for the world. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and I can imagine just being involved in very high athletics. there's a huge element of teamwork, cooperation. There's a large element of social skill that would parlay really, really well for you, that you obviously developed and cultivated to do really well in hospitality. Because I mean, a lot of it is, it's managing diverse teams. I mean, you got the kitchen on one end, you got the front of the house, back of the house, and then of course you got the client aspect, and there's always new faces, as well as returning clients and customers coming through the door, and you really have to engage them in a way that's structured, but it also ensures their success, much like you would have had to do as a pro athlete.
Well, I think what happens is, like you said, the team aspect, being able to operate as a team and being a functional team member, I think is key. And I realizing that even as a restaurant owner, I rarely ever, I should say never, I rarely pull out that quote ownership card. I just consider myself another member of the team. If you can't,
that's true. You know, that's an excellent point.
if you can't clean a toilet, bust a table, mop up a spill, then you're in the wrong business. If you want to be a restaurant owner, I mean, there are several people that are in the restaurant business just to be, as say, an investment, but you're not really a restaurateur. Then it's just part of your investment portfolio. But I mean, like you said, I mean, if you're going to be in the restaurant business, then you really need to understand the team aspect. And I think playing football on any level prepares you for that. Prepares you to being able to function as a team, and you quickly learn that you're only as strong as your weakest link. So the best players need to help out and bring other people up. You know, I think that's how leaders lead, right?
You know, and I think that's extremely well said. For the listeners listening in, what Keith has mentioned here is very pivotal. If you're going to succeed in any role in leadership, is that you also have to have that element of servant leadership. Like, and you mentioned that it's, you know, throwing out your own garbage, being willing to bust the tables. In the case of a restaurant, if the dish room gets slammed, don't be shy to run back there, help them out, because every aspect in that wheel is what allows that wheel to roll forward very successfully. Yeah. So what, you know, I know this is obviously a well-versed conversation now, in the sense that the pandemic and COVID, I mean, how are you guys dealing with the challenges? Because, you know, you're local, which I think is a huge plus, because for anyone listening to this, don't be supporting the great big box chains. Don't support the international conglomerates. Go out and support the local economy, because they're the ones that actually hire. They care. You know, they've got teams that are local as well. They support the entire local economy. Often the food and the service is a lot better. What are you doing to make the adjustments just during this very difficult time? I know it's been very trying for all of you.
Well, it's kind of, you're kind of learning how to adjust on the fly. I mean, unfortunately, Doug Ford has been very quick with you don't have much turnaround in order to, when you go from one phase to the next, or now in the case of going back, went from phase 3 back to a modified phase 2. We had hours, not days, to adjust. So there's a lot of, I mean, how do I say this properly? Yes, it's very upsetting. There's there's an inherent risk that we might, I mean, the business might fail because of the fact it's tough to get guests in the restaurant, or guests coming in to do the takeout. But I mean, we have to look at this as glass half full. There needs to be a sense of positivity, because if we're all going to be negative about this, we might as well fold up shop and head home with our tail between our legs.
Yes.
So one of my partners has come up with a really good suggestion, and we've always been Obviously, when we planned out both restaurants, we planned it for the giant social aspect. Both restaurants, Beer House and Crazy Horse, are both well over 8,000 square feet. So they are giant restaurants. Central Beer House has it also on top of that, a giant patio. So we're used to serving volume, and part of the experience is being in the restaurant. So we've never really been all that big on takeout, because takeout isn't part of the experience. So we're kind of learning on the fly to adjust to say, hey, Beer House, yes, you can come in and listen to great music while having your liter of beer and your schnitzel and your sausage. But I mean, the food is also amazing. Same thing with the Crazy Horse. The Crazy Horse for 11 years now has been known as this West End party where it's great to go have a good meal and listen to the band, ride the bull on some nights. Again, a total experience. But people forget that, oh, Crazy Horse has amazing food. Oh, I didn't even know Crazy Horse was a restaurant. I only knew them as a bar. So we have, if we're going to look at the glass half full in this situation, we have an opportunity to move ahead forward when this is all over, because I truly believe we will come out of the other end with, shining. I have to believe that. So there's an opportunity for us to tap into a market that we didn't tap into before. So once we go back to normal, whatever that normal is going to be down the road, we can now have, if we move forward with the proper steps, we can have a successful takeout business and even takeaway business, delivery business, on top of the already successful business that we've got. So we will allow ourselves to move ahead with another stream of revenue that we're going to rely on this part just to keep us afloat, but down the road could serve as an extra stream, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. And it could be a big boom for business as well. The other thing is, Central Beer House, I was there for a beer dinner. It's a fantastic space. I mean, your beer offerings are incredible. Some of the very best. You rival anyone as far as your beer list and your beer menu.
You were there for the Belgian beer dinner, correct?
Yes, and it was awesome. That was an awesome event. And, your space is terrific. The service inside was fantastic. And that room that night must have had about 300 people in it. Nobody waited for anything. Everything was expedited. Just everything from beginning to end in your restaurant worked really, really, really well. I was really impressed by it, because it's something as a hospitality professional, you go in and you start examining these things. I was like, wow, Keith and company have got a great operation here, and you've got some highly educated staff on board as well. I know you've got one he is basically a beer sommelier too. He went through Cicerone. So, I mean, it's, and for those that are listening, you know what? Support local. Pick up your product. The problem partially that we talked about with things like Uber Eats, for instance, is it's almost I would call it almost extortion in a way. I don't know if we can get away with that word here, but we're probably going to use it anyway. But 20 to 30% fees on delivery, which just eat into restaurants' profits. The profit margin is small. A lot of people don't realize that. As Keith mentioned, you have to focus on volume. Volume is a key component in the success of any food and beverage operation. But they have some brilliant food. They've got a brilliant beer menu. I mean, you can go everything from German to Belgian to French to North American, all sorts of styles of lagers and ales, even sours and lambics are on the menu, Trappist ales. Are they able to order, because I know Doug Ford in the province is working on this too, are they able to order beer for pickup as well from you now?
Right now, not really, because what's happened was when we first closed back in March, we had the beer list, like you said, we had 36 beers on tap, which we still have 36 beers on tap, but we also had another 120.
Wow.
Yeah, 120 bottles and cans. So we had about $90,000 in inventory sitting in the restaurant, and with no real way to sell them. So we did, because we were allowed to do the takeaway back then, we did pop-up beer days, and we depleted our inventory. So right now, in order to not get stuck with that amount of volume, we haven't been doing too much in terms of package. What my goal is moving forward is going to be going to my consignment beer companies. That people listening, the consignment is something you can't just go get at your local LCBO or local liquor store. That needs to be ordered in from out of the country. That's Trappist, a lot of Trappist beers.
Yeah, and there's some of the best beer in the world.
Beers,
that's awesome.
Stuff like that. So in order, we can start ordering only those and then trying to do some pairings specifically for takeout. The problem with that right now is several companies such as Stiegl, for example. We've got an order from Stiegl that's coming from Austria that's been stuck at the port in Montreal for months.
Wow.
So the pandemic is causing us and causing everybody worldwide to have shipping problems. So on a good day, some of these beers take 10 months to get in. So right now, in terms of getting some of these consignment beers, it's going to be quite difficult. So that's something that we're going to look at down the road. But unfortunately, right now, we're just dealing with our own inventory that we have. We are looking into potentially setting up growlers to be able to.
Oh, awesome.
To be able to pour some draft in the growlers for people to take home with them. And of course, we've got some amazing drafts on tap. So that's just
that's
something
cool.
Down the road.
Yeah, that's cool, because even draft, I mean, if the draft lines are managed and maintained properly, the quality of the beer is often the very best out of a tap. That's when it's at its purest and finest form. And
yes,
that's terrific. What else? It's just, it has been a tough struggle. And for those of you listening, I mean, your menu, what are the key components? So what are the typical items that, that are common that people really enjoy ordering from you, that the listener would be interested in probably hearing?
Sorry, Rob, at which restaurant?
Oh, well,
because they're very diverse at each restaurant.
Sure. Let's start with the Crazy Horse and then move to Central Beer House.
The Crazy Horse, of course, we are known for our steaks. Unfortunately, the Stone Grill, which is a piece of lava rock that comes out heated in a special oven up to 750 degrees, those aren't going to be available for takeaway. But our chef Mike, who's been with us from day one, is phenomenal on the grill, and he can cook the Fire Grill steaks to perfection. So we're really well known for steaks, burgers. We've got some amazing barbecue. We've got our own smoker right in the back.
That's awesome.
So we do smoked ribs. People might say I'm biased, but we have the best wings in the city. We smoke
Fantastic.
our wow. And then they're finished in the fryer. So our smoked wings are nothing like you've ever had in terms of wing day. So
that's cool. So basically what you're doing is you're bringing high level Tex-Mex.
There's not much Mex.
Barbecue.
There's not much
Texas, in there. But maybe Texan.
I mean, we have an amazing nacho, but so there's high quality steakhouse food.
No, that's awesome. And you know what? If you're thinking of having a barbecue in a hurry, you've got guests coming over, you're listening to this, you're in the Ottawa area, particularly in the West End where it's readily available. This is a great idea for a quiet COVID party. I mean, bring the beer from Central Beer House, come visit you for that. And then you can either order the fine cuisine from Central Beer House, which would be more Bavarian beer related. Correct me if I'm wrong. No. And then you could go in and you could order steaks and these I'll use the term kick-ass because it's okay, but you got these kick-ass smoked wings. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to order that? Like, that's just cool. That's a unique offering. And these are things people should be looking at in the pandemic, because this is a great way to explore what's out there that you haven't explored before. call up these local establishments. Definitely reach out to the Crazy Horse Central Beer House. See what they have and order from them. You will not be disappointed.
Something that Chef Mike did at the Crazy Horse throughout the summer was he actually set up takeaway barbecue packages. So he would
Wow.
with our vac pack system, and he would vacuum seal steaks. You could get 2, 4, 6, 8, up to, I think the most number we had ordered was, I think, 16 steaks. And so you barbecue them yourself. You give full instructions on what to do, but you also have all the sides. So it wouldn't be necessarily, quote, takeout, but it would be like almost like one-stop shopping. You had everything ready for you to actually do your own barbecue. You'd have all the sides done, ready to go from the Crazy Horse. But then
That's awesome.
then you get to be your own grill master. Tell everybody that you did it all yourself. So.
and you know what? Because it's so professionally done, it's just going to be a huge hit. And, you know, we're going to wrap up here, but some of the best people, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, you're tuning in on this, make sure, especially if you're in the Ottawa region, you know, reach out to Crazy Horse, reach out to Central Beer House. These are two excellent establishments. They offer some real uniqueness. They really, truly are local to the area. I love the pop-up barbecue idea. I mean, I'm just thinking already, if you're an events planner and you're stuck in events and you have to change your game a bit, you can no longer do these big events in hotels and into, you know, convention centers and these types of spaces. Give Keith a call, call his establishments up, order that pop-up barbecue. And if you're stuck, call him up to see what kind of beer you can pair with it. You will not be disappointed. The key here is we have to come together as a community, and local is where it all starts. And I've been a big fan of this from the beginning of this whole pandemic. Listen, Keith, much love and much blessings to you, brother. You've been a great guest.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
no, anytime. And you know what? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you decide to do, make sure you step out of your bubble and check out what's local. Stay away from the great big box chains, you know, the Swiss Chalets or the McDonald's of the world, just because there's a lot more of a real experience you can have by reaching out into the local environment that, you know, establishments such as the Crazy Horse and Central Beer House have to offer. Listen, whatever you decide to do, have a terrific have a terrific day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rob from the Drunken Grape.